Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. We are excited today to welcome you to our Services and Experience Marketing Courseware launch. We want to encourage you to use our chat feature. So to get things started today, while we're waiting for people to join in, just go ahead and leave a comment in the chat and let us know where you're from, what your name is, what courses you teach, what university you're at. Just give us some information and let's get to know each other a bit. All right. Joe from Michigan, Brian from Rexburg, Idaho, Amber from Hawaii, and we have our authors, Jerry Rackley and Maribeth Kuzmeski. See, Dave Matthews from SUNY, Bill from, Litorno University in Texas, Darcy, Ohio University teaches marketing. Erica from Mexico, welcome. Hola. Mary from Washington State, Jason from San Diego. This is great, guys. We have a lot of people from a lot of different areas. So welcome to once again to the Services and Experience Marketing Courseware launch. My name is Paul Cotter. I'm a product marketing manager here at Stukent. We're actually located in Idaho Falls, Idaho, and we have, if you can see out my window a little, we have a snowy morning this morning. With some cold weather. So hopefully maybe you're a little warmer where you're at today. Once again, I want to encourage you to use the chat function to the side here today. I am going to post a little poll in here. I'm going to share that. How long have you been teaching a marketing course? Less than a year, 1 to 2 years, 3 to 4 years, or 5 or more years? Let us know. Just give us a feel of our audience today. Also, I'm going to be using the chat feature, and I'm going to give you some links throughout this webinar. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a link where you can request free instructor access to the Services and Experience Marketing Courseware. So if you click on this link to request access, you will get free instructor access. And that's something that we want to offer to you, thanking you for attending this webinar today. And I also want to encourage you to just take a quick moment to fill that out. Many of you know when we sent out the invites to this webinar that we offered a $100 Amazon gift card. And so that's how we're going to determine who gets the gift card. Is we'll choose it from the list of people who register for free access. So go ahead, I'll give you a minute, click on that and request your free access. Oh, I see Kinda Wilson just joined us from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Kinda is another author here at Stukent. She is the author of Modern Marketing Principles. It's a great course. So in regards to the Amazon gift cards that we offered at the end of the seminar today, we'll announce the winners for those, and we'll get you those. So stay tuned for that. Also, we will send every one of you who is attending today, we'll send you a link today so that you can watch this webinar again and have access to it. You'll be able to see the slide presentations and everything that goes along with it. Let's see. And also at the end of the webinar, our authors have a special gift for everyone, and we'll make sure that you get that. Hello, Ebrew from Long Island, New York. Georgia from Eastern Wyoming, Murdoch from Farmington, New Mexico. We have people from all over today. Irene from Toronto. So we have Mexico and Canada. So that's great. Well, to start out today, I want to let you know that at the end, when the authors are finished, we will have a Q&A. And so go ahead, and if you want, you can enter questions in the chat, and we'll watch for those, and we can read them at the end to the authors. Or if you want to save your questions for the end, you can do that, whichever works best for you. Also, I want to, before we get started, I want to show you a quick video on our services marketing courseware. So give me just 1 second to pull that up.
Courseware that is designed to equip students.
Oops. Restart that.
The world we live in is filled with services. They're essential to us. We can't live without them. So why do certain brands offer amazing customer experiences while others leave us disappointed and sometimes even angry? Introducing Services and Experience Marketing by Jerry Rackley and Maribeth Kuzmeski. Courseware that is designed to equip students with the skills to deliver exceptional service and create unforgettable customer experiences. Through this industry-leading courseware, students will use the GAP model of service quality to measure and manage the 5 major gaps that can occur during service delivery, improve service quality, increase customer satisfaction, grow a more loyal customer following, and perform a services marketing brand audit. This curriculum not only allows professors to save time, but also prepares students for real-life jobs in the services marketing field. Plus, you'll get all the resources you need to provide an engaging learning experience, including 1 syllabus, 1 course schedule, 16 lesson plans, 16 lecture slides, 16 quizzes, 14 quiz banks, 1 cumulative project, and more. Plus, the courseware is designed to bundle with Mimic Services Marketing, which requires no grading on your part and provides students with individualized feedback to help them improve throughout the simulation. Give your students resume-worthy services marketing experience. Services and Experience Marketing by Jerry Rackley and Maribeth Kuzmeski.
Okay, that was an awesome video. Get us all hyped up. So I want to bring on our authors right now, Maribeth Kuzmeski and Jerry Rackley. Hi, Maribeth.
Hello.
Hi, Jerry.
Hey, Paul.
Can everybody hear and see everyone? We're good? Okay, great. Great. So I just want to introduce Maribeth Kuzmeski and Jerry Rackley to everyone. And I want you to know that these authors are amazing. They are the real deal. They're so knowledgeable in this subject, and I can't wait for them to talk to you about it. Jerry is also involved with our Modern Marketing Principles courseware. He's the co-author of that. And Maribeth is actually in the process of writing another courseware for Stukent. Name, Image, and Likeness is the courseware for that. So these are seasoned authors and educators and professionals that we're working with here, and we're really excited to have them. So without further ado, I'm going to take myself off stage, and I'm going to turn the time over to Jerry and Maribeth.
Thank you, Paul.
Yes, thanks, Paul, and happy Friday to everyone who's listening to us live. I don't know how things are on your campus. We are in the last day of finals week where I am, so we're all happy to see the semester come to an end. We're excited to talk to you today about what we've developed, so we'll give you a little bit more background about who we are, and we'll start with Maribeth.
Yes, so I'm Maribeth Kuzmeski. I am a professor of marketing at Oklahoma State University, along with Jerry. And I have also been running a marketing consulting firm called Red Zone Marketing for over 20 years. and we specialize in services marketing. So it was a good pair up for Jerry and I to write this book together. Jerry has been teaching services marketing and is very involved from a consulting side as well. But it's great because I have such a passion for services marketing, and now we get to share that with others. So that's a little bit about me. Jerry, how about you?
Well, I, like Maribeth, I'm kind of blended in terms of background. I have been in academia just since 2007 and have spent almost my entire career in the field of marketing and much of it in services marketing. And like Maribeth, I also still do consulting outside the university. But of the courses that I teach, services marketing is probably my favorite. And it's the one that I consistently get feedback from students at the end of the course and even after, the ones who stay in touch with me. They say things like, you open my eyes to a new way of viewing how we consume services, how we market services. And so it's just one of the most impactful courses that I get to teach, and I really love teaching it. So that's a little bit about us. We welcome comments and questions as we go through this. The first thing we wanted to do is just kind of go into evangelist mode a little bit and talk about why we feel it's so important that we all teach something about services marketing. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to actually go into story time with Maribeth and Jerry. And so we'll let Maribeth start this.
Okay, so the way that we started off this text is exactly what we're going to be sharing with you today. A day in a Gen Z life. So imagine that my name is Taylor. Consider a day in the life of Taylor, an average Gen Z American. Taylor's smartphone alarm goes off in the morning and the morning begins. He or she checks Instagram to see what was missed overnight and watches a few TikTok videos. Heading off to the bathroom to get ready, Taylor streams music through Spotify. Thinking it's a shave day, Taylor reaches for his Dollar Shave Club razor. Checking his weather app, Taylor decides it's a perfect day to wear the new shirt he just got from his favorite online retailer. And on the way out the door, Taylor opens the Starbucks app and taps to order his favorite drinks. It'll be ready when he walks by on the way to class.
On his way to class, a reminder to pay his rent pops up on his phone. And opening his online banking app, he makes a few taps and pays it. A few hours later, Taylor meets some friends for lunch and taps to make a contactless payment for his meal. During lunch, Taylor loses a friendly bet and has to Venmo the $10 he lost to one of his smug friends. His afternoon is filled with reading online course texts and completing assignments in his school's online learning portal. Since he has a big exam coming up next week, he spends some time making a Quizlet to help him study the key concepts.
With classes done for the day, Taylor catches an Uber to get home since it's raining. Remembering that also it's his mom's birthday, he FaceTimes her to let her know he's thinking about her. She thanks him for the virtual gift card he sent. And since Taylor plans to go to grad school, he goes then online to read reviews and order a GMAT prep guide. He chooses one that includes online access. Thinking he's got a full evening of study ahead, he gets a group text stating that everyone gathering at his place is there to watch the new Netflix series that just came out. The group arrives, and 30 minutes later, DoorDash food delivery shows up.
And hopefully that little vignette helps us all just remember and realize that our world is filled with services, just as that hype video that Paul showed us earlier was. And so we're immersed in services. One of the reasons why we need to be talking about it and teaching it.
Yeah, so why teach services marketing? Because everything in this world is related to services, it seems. Even product-based companies now have to focus on services. And the experience is something that we also made sure that was part of this title, because it's not just doing good services or performing good customer service. It's also about a different approach to marketing, which relates to the experience.
If you think about innovation and who's responsible for it, this list comes from an infographic the Visual Capitalist put together. And for 2021, they ranked the 5 most innovative companies as these 5 you see on the screen. And of course, when you look at these, you realize almost all of them are service related or pure services plays in the market. Yes, Tesla definitely has a product, a very nice one. I wouldn't mind having one of them. But they wrap it in service. And so the innovation's being driven out of the service industry. And furthermore, our students, I don't know about you all, but these are the companies that my students say they would love to work for. So again, these are just some of the imperatives that we feel like require us to focus on services and teach it. So we want to talk now about the courseware. What are some of the things that influence the way we develop this courseware? So let's go to that first thing, and Maribeth's going to talk about it. Oh, sorry, Maribeth.
We're both changing the slides. That's good. That's great. So millennials and Gen Z are immersed in services, but not just the service, it's the experience. And it's become something where people are willing to spend money on an experience. And it's something that actually these cohorts actually, they expect that there's going to be some kind of an experience. And if you look at all of the different ways that this is done, and you look at the different industries that are available, I mean, if you think about this study, this PwC study, 73% point to experience as an important factor in their purchasing decisions. This is a big deal. And so companies can no longer be average. They really need to think about what is above and beyond to create that experience. It is the way that businesses will differentiate today.
Another influence in how we developed our courseware was just the reality of servitization. And we are seeing it in lots of places. We referenced in our opening vignette, the Dollar Shave Club, which is certainly a great example of servitization. But, on a much broader scale, all of the brands that you see here have really pivoted into offering what they sell, what they were selling as a tangible product as a service. Philips, and we talk about this in our text, they are selling lighting as a service, and they have a contract with, I believe it's the airport in Amsterdam, where the maintenance crew at the airport just stopped buying light bulbs and light fixtures and replacing and maintaining them, and they just outsourced it to Philips and said, you just take care of our lighting. Rolls-Royce does something similar with jet engines. They don't sell the engines and transfer ownership. They sell thrust by the hour, and they maintain those engines. Caterpillar does something similar. Xerox sells print services and retains ownership of the actual devices. And so we see this happening, and of course that influenced what we put into this courseware. And as you look at these examples of servitization, one of the things that comes up over and over again is the impact it has on profit. Companies aren't just doing it because it's a trend and they want to keep up. No, they're doing it because they get better margins. They can impact their profitability favorably when they either turn what was a product offering into a service, or they add a service component to a product offering. So there's really a compelling reason for them to be doing this.
And it's about differentiation, because if you're, and I mentioned this before, but the true experience separates a company from another company. And the services provide this amazing advantage. And we know the companies that provide notoriously bad service, and we talk about them and we think about them. But what about those companies that provide really great sustainable advantages through their service? So if we talk about this, the entire courseware, we're going to do an overview of what the courseware looks like. It was in the video, but we're going to go through it quickly here as well. So the first thing, we've got learning objectives. We've got a bunch of learning objectives. Every chapter has learning objectives. But the idea for this entire courseware is to take a look at the dominant role that services play. It's really not about products and services and product servicitation. It's about this entire thing where we're looking at how the world is changing because of services and how most people will end up in some kind of a service-related position or have to think about service in everything that they do. So these are some important areas. And Jerry, you want to talk about some of the other ones?
Sure, and if you've listened to what we've said so far, you've heard us talk about service and services, and one of the things we certainly cover and is part of the learning objectives for the courseware is what's the difference? What's the difference between service quality and providing a service, and the course actually goes well and deep into all of that. But we pay a lot of attention to things that surround service and services that we know to be very important, like the physical evidence and the environment. And one of the things I'm probably most passionate about is culture, which is item number 10 on the list, and how that really is a make or break aspect of success in a service industry. We certainly also like to talk about service failure and service recovery, and what any of us who have taught services marketing know as that service recovery paradox. Another one of my favorite subjects to teach on when I teach this course. So, and of course, the way we feel like it's important to close it out is what you see on number 11, because we feel from our experience in industry that when you make investments in things that aren't tangible, a lot of times you get pushback from the finance folks. And they're like, so wait, you want to improve customer satisfaction, you want to invest in some aspect of service quality, and why are we spending that money? And so we just felt like it was important to close out the course with a discussion of the impact those things have. So those are our learning objectives. We'll take you through table of contents really quickly. There are 16 chapters in total. So if you have a 16-week semester, it's easy to do one per week, or structure it however you wish. But the first 4, we walk you through an intro to what the world of services is, their nature, how they differentiate, and we go into the services marketing framework, or GAPS model, which if you've taught this, you're probably familiar with that. And of course, the 7 Ps, we talk about that as well. And then continuing on, we go into those dimensions of service quality that some of the pioneers in this field developed a few decades ago. That's highly relevant, and we've included it in our text. A big part of services success is managing customer expectations, setting them properly, and then of course working to achieve them. So we talk about that and the role that relationships have in having success there, and just how to become an organization that is experience centric.
And then we also talk about the service design process, and this idea of service design and the service setting service standards and the service environment. All of these things are absolutely critical to being able to teach services marketing. And one of the things that we really feel in putting all of these chapters together and everything that we're talking about is that this really is something that we feel is turnkey. This is the kind of thing where we've got all of the pieces there to teach services marketing, whether you've taught it before or you haven't. And I think one of the things that Jerry mentioned before that I'll mention again in chapter 16, we've got an entire chapter proving out the impact of exceptional service on corporate performance. And it makes a really big difference when you look at how much it changes the financial picture of a company.
So let's spend a little bit of time talking about some of the resources, and the hype video touched on some of these already, but the whole idea here was not just to present to you a text, but a package of courseware that if you have never taught services marketing, it's turnkey. It has everything you need to get a course up and running and go through it in a period of a semester. So let's just look at some of the resources you'll find. Obviously, in addition to the text, there are the lesson plans. And so we put together lesson plans that I will just tell you in many cases, the page count of the lesson plans equal or exceed the chapter page count. So they're fairly detailed, they're very rich. We included plans for walking through each chapter's material, lots of ideas that are sprinkled throughout every chapter lesson plan on things you should discuss in class, um, things you can do in class. And I'm a big fan of using video clips. We all know how well video engages. And so, for example, as we go through the section of the text that talks about the 7 Ps, one of the P's that's unique to services is process. Well, you see a little thumbnail picture here on the slide. This is one of my favorite comedians named Brian Regan. Some of you may have heard Brian. Brian has a little skit that he does on UPS. And it is hilarious, but it does an awesome job of, in a funny way, using humor, describing a service process that is perhaps a little bit confusing to the consumer. And so we try to use things like this in the courseware. There's several assignments, including one I'll come to in here in a minute that is a cumulative semester-long assignment, but lots of little ones. For example, a complaint letter. We have a section of the text where we talk about complaints and handling complaints and what you can learn from complaints. And a suggested assignment idea is to have students write their own complaint letter. It doesn't have to be a physical letter, but lodge a complaint with a service provider and evaluate the response to that. So that and many other outside reading assignments are all part of this text.
And then we also have slides for every single chapter. We've got slides that take into account what's happening in the courseware. And we also have quizzes, lots of quiz questions that are available that you can choose from as a professor. And there's 15 questions per chapter. And then we've got just a bank of a ton of questions. So it makes it really easy to be able to take this courseware and just get right to it and use it.
So I wanted to spend a little bit of time on this because I really feel like this is a key part of the course when you teach services marketing. There's all the things that we teach in the text and through the chapters. There's a cumulative assignment that is really a service audit. And what I do when I assign this, I tell the students as teams, they are to choose a service business. I like for them to choose one that's local, and this assignment actually requires them to have interaction. This is not something you just do by doing lots of internet research and writing reports. No, this is an assignment where it's meant for the students and teams to go meet and interact with a service business and complete this audit over the course of the semester. So I haven't shown all the phases of the audit, but it walks through an entire semester, beginning with overviewing the service. What is it and who is it for? And you can see we've got the sections mapped to chapters in the text. They'll go through and do a gap analysis. They'll do several things. They'll evaluate customer satisfaction. They'll evaluate employee engagement and empowerment. They'll go all the way through the key concepts of the text in the course of the semester. What I have my students do is at the end of the semester, they submit a report. Now, I tend to grade it as they turn it in. So I don't make them wait till the end of the semester. I have them turn it in sections so I can grade it and give them feedback as we proceed through the semester. But at the end of the semester, I have them put together a presentation that they make on their semester-long project. So I think this is important because this is a real experiential component to the course that helps take all these concepts and just make them come alive. So that is a part of what you'll find in the courseware. Another thing that is coming soon, you're going to see a video about this in just a minute, is there will be a simulation. And Maribeth and I have been working with the sim developers for most of this year, giving them advice and suggestions on how the simulation needs to work. But again, this is going to help students apply in a simulation lots of the concepts that we discuss in the text.
And this is easy to make this a flipped course. And I don't know if any of you are teaching flipped courses right now. I know that I teach a flipped course, and it is just a great, active learning is just such a great way of teaching marketing. And this entire courseware is laid out so that it can be a flipped course for you.
So, as I mentioned, I do teach this course and have for several years. And so, just to share with you my strategy, it's one way to do it is, as Maribeth suggested, you could flip or partially flip the course. My plan, now that this courseware is available, and yes, I am using our own courseware for the spring semester to teach this course, is I'll actually have the students do most of the courseware work outside the classroom. They will do the reading and take the quizzes. My intention is not to have them come in the class and hear a lecture from me about the things they've just read. We'll do some of that because I feel like there are certain aspects of the text that are so important. I want them to hear what I have to say, my perspective and my passion around some of these things. But for the most part, my intention is to bring people into the classroom from industry so the students can hear from them. And you see a partial list here. I have great relationships. I happen to have lived in our community for 30 plus years, so I know a lot of people. And so the CEO of a local credit union, the owner of a local coffee shop, they'll all come in and give their perspective. Uh, we have a strong relationship with Centos. They do a lot of recruiting on our campus, and they're always willing to come in and share their perspective as well. I have a close friend who's a Southwest airline pilot. In the past, he was probably the most engaging outside speaker I brought in. Everyone wanted to hear what he had to say, and he talked about the culture of the airline and the impact that it has. An outside marketing consultant, lots of folks like that. So I'm going to bring in a steady stream of people like this. That's just the way I will run the class. I think the students love it and get a lot of benefit from it. So that's our plan. Really, we have just kind of gone through our overview. We are seeing some comments in your comments section in the chat. We'd love to answer any questions you have about this. As I think Paul shared at the start, if you weren't here for that, this is new. It will be available for the spring semester for the first time.
Yes. Thanks, Jerry and Maribeth. Let me just go ahead and enter any questions that you have in the chat, but let me go over a couple that I jotted down during your presentation. Someone asked if this includes rubrics.
Yes, I mean, it's probably not as detailed as perhaps you might like, but enough information in terms of grading, and how to evaluate. And we're certainly happy, or at least I am, since I teach the course, to share, the rubrics that I use to grade the assignments. So yes, the short answer is yes, and I'm happy to amplify what's in the courseware if anyone wants to know more.
Great. Also, Kyle asked, we know this is a new course, but he asked if anyone has used the course yet.
No one has used this courseware yet since it is new. As we shared at the start, Maribeth and I both teach and come out of industry. We kind of bring that blend. So when I started teaching services marketing years ago, I used a text, but over the years I abandoned it and just started building a collection of my own material that I felt was a better reflection of what I thought students needed to know as they go into industry after they graduate. And so while this courseware has not been used yet since it's new, it was built on the understanding we've developed about how to teach services and the topics that are important and the things we felt must be covered in a services marketing course. So it reflects a lot of that experience and accumulated wisdom.
Yeah, as Jerry's been teaching this course, we've been living services marketing as well. My firm, Red Zone Marketing, works in the financial services industry and has for many, many, many years. And there just hasn't been something in the way that we've described it here that is a combination of the academic theory and also the real practical stuff that we think is really important to know in this.
Great. I just want to read a couple of the comments. Lisa said, I teach services marketing and require the activities being discussed. It's been a great piece of our marketing degree. Love that we can have something like this from Stukent. Let's see. Gay said simulation is something I'm looking forward to. And Ebru asked, what will the cost be for students? So the cost of the courseware is $79.99 for students. When the simulation is launched, the simulation cost will be $59.99. And then we do a bundle price where if you purchase the simulation and the courseware together, it's discounted at $119.99. Okay. So we have a lot of questions asking about the simulation and when that can be expected. So before I address that, is there anything else that Jerry, Maribeth, that you'd like to say?
Not for me, unless there's a question or a comment that we can address. We'd be happy to do that.
Okay. Looks like the rest are associated with the simulation. There was a question asking earlier about how this can be used when teaching online. Would one of you want to speak to that?
Well, I think it's a really easy course to have delivered online because that's obviously where the course lives already. And while I don't deliver this course online, it would be very easy for me to move it online. It would not be a challenging course. There's not really anything that would need to change to move the course online. But again, as I said that, I teach online courses, and I actually, not this course, as I mentioned, I teach another course that's both face-to-face and delivered online. And it has been a really simple transition. I think this one would likewise be pretty easy to move online. Now, I do see we have a question about video cases. So we do not have video cases with this courseware like Principles of Marketing does, Modern Marketing Principles. And, that's something that Kenda really developed and did a great job on those. We didn't have Kenda involved in this particular project. What you will find are not cases that are specific to the course. In the lesson plans, what I've done is over the years of teaching the course, I found lots of just supplementary videos that I use in class, and I've included most of those in the lesson plans. So they're not cases, but they're really good illustrations in video that in class you can just pull up and say, now let's watch this video. So, but no video cases like Modern Marketing Principles.
Great. Maribeth, Mary is asking if this course would fit for a retail management class. Are there, maybe you could speak to that and other courses that this would work for?
Yeah, absolutely. It would work for that course because retail is about your frontline people, right? And this is all about the service, the culture, and everything. If you want to be able to deliver, sell products and services in the retail format, the service is really, really important. And so we obviously stress that a lot. And I also see another question from Joe. How detailed do you get with the actual delivery one-on-one of customer service in the courseware? And I mean, I don't know, Jerry, if you want to answer that, but we get extremely detailed in this aspect of it.
Yeah, there's actually several chapters that hit at the heart of that. So, for example, one of them is employees. We put a big emphasis in one chapter on employees as agents of service and how they are that frontline resource that has almost everything to do with the outcome of a service delivery process as well as the satisfaction with that process. And we cover it in other places as well. We have a whole section of the text on research to understand what customer expectations are and just the fundamental need to make sure that not only do you understand those expectations, but you're delivering to them and you're measuring your ability to deliver to them. So throughout the text that, Joe, I'm looking at your question there, that is a theme that's woven throughout the text, and some chapters spend a lot of time on that.
Yeah.
I see another question, Paul, about supply chain management. I will tell you, we didn't write this text with supply chain management in mind, but when the principles of service and service quality come into play, a lot of the principles that we teach in this course would apply, but it's not written to be a text for a supply chain management course.
Right.
And Sanford, if you will leave your email address in the chat, I will reach out to you. Stukent is launching a supply chain management course this coming year. So if you leave me your information, I'll make sure that you get information on that. Marianne, I teach hospitality, events, and tourism, thinking this would be a good fit as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And we have many examples in the text from the hospitality tourism realm. Yep. You're right about that. Completely agree, Marianne.
Yes. Murray, can you debundle for training in corporate settings? Murray, please leave me your email and I will reach out to you with options for that. Okay. Okay. What I'd like to do right now is I would like to show the hype video that we have for the simulation. And so I'm going to just switch the screen here.
From the way we listen to music, to the way we order dinner, commute to work, and even pay bills, we live in a world of services. Now more than ever, students need to know how to market services and experiences to compete in today's industry. Meet Mimic Services Marketing. In this simulation, students take on the role of a marketing manager at Bowie Supply Co., where they will launch and manage a clothing subscription service. As part of the simulation, students will apply consumer research insights and metrics to guide marketing decisions, set features and recommend standards for a service, listen and respond to customer feedback and complaints, identify recovery strategies for maintaining customer satisfaction, allocate budgets to processes that help achieve service standards, adjust service features to meet customer expectations, evaluate and select marketing communications to effectively promote a service. Mimic Services Marketing requires no grading on your part and provides students with individualized feedback to help them improve throughout the simulation. It's designed for online and in-person classes and bundles seamlessly with the Services and Experience Marketing digital courseware. Mimic Services Marketing is the most engaging and up-to-date services marketing simulation in the world. Give your students resume-worthy services marketing experience through Mimic Services Marketing.
Upcoming simulation. The simulation will launch in early 2022. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw up a link here. And if you will click this link, request instructor access, and what we'll do is we'll reach out to you when the simulation is ready, and so that you can have a walkthrough and a personal demonstration with one of our course consultants here at Stukent. So go ahead and do that, and then you'll be sure to be on our list, and we'll reach out to you in regards to the simulation. So thank you, Jerry and Maribeth. We're excited for this courseware to launch. As you can see, this is what courseware is. This is not just a textbook. This is so much more, and we can't wait for you all to get this in your classroom and to be working with your students with this. I want to just talk to you a little bit about upcoming events that we have here at Stukent. This year, we have launched 4 new simulations just this last month. We launched a professional selling courseware and simulation. We launched a simulation and courseware for content marketing, email marketing and personal branding. And we have one additional courseware coming out for business research essentials. So if you're interested in any of these other coursewares that are launching, go ahead and register for any of our upcoming events. Now, before we finish, Maribeth and Jerry, there was something that you wanted to give to everyone, and I have that here if you want to talk about it.
Sure. I think what we decided might be a great resource is that service audit assignment, that cumulative semester-long assignment. And from reading comments, it looks like some of you do something like this already, which I think is great. What a great way to apply the concepts of a services marketing course. So there's what you'll find. It's being shared right now for you to download. Take a look at that. Hopefully you'll find it useful. We, of course, welcome any feedback that you have. And it's a good platform, I think, for you to take it and make adjustments to it to make it fit into what you want to do. But there you have it.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. That's a great download and something they can use right now. We want to thank each of you for joining us today, taking time out of your Friday to learn about this new courseware. Thank you, Maribeth. Thank you, Jerry, for writing this courseware and for all that you have done with that. Before we leave, I just want to give you a couple of names for our winners for the gift cards. Do you have the people? Okay, we have Ebru and Kyle. Okay, you are the $50 winners. So leave your email address in the chat, Ebru and Kyle, and we will reach out to you and get you those. And our $100 winner is Samford. So leave your information in the chat. We'll reach out. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a great day.
Bye, everybody.